It's Black Lounge Entertainment, and the time is right with T-Pre.
Shout out to all the loungers. I appreciate all of you for coming in, those who will catch the replay. Listen. I am so taken aback and so flabbergasted by this conversation that was had on Conscious TV show last night. Okay. Now, I have done a receipt show on this situation already. I'm willing to talk to Conscious and show him the receipts, willing to talk to Conscious and show him what really happened. But at the end of the day, Breaking the Culture done went up on Conscious's channel and decided to tell this man all these mother freaking lies in regards to that kink list and in regards to how I got the kink list and what was going on with that situation. I am absolutely, positively disgusted. At the end of the day, Breaking the Culture, you still just don't seem to know how to take responsibility for your own ish. So at this point, the gloves are off, okay? Because Conscious has a much larger platform, all right? So now that you have slandered me to thousands of people, as opposed to this little sector right here, where we're just talking trash and we're just going back and forth with each other, you really have a lawsuit at this point, okay? Because now you're going to have to prove in a court of law what you're saying. Because at the end of the day, I have all my ducks in a row. Okay. I have all of my ducks in a row when it comes to our conversations, when it comes to our emails, when it comes to everything regarding what you requested from me for this Brett guy. Okay. I never was solicited. I never was solicited for prostitution. That is included in your email. You also told me by phone that the reason why you wanted the kink list and that you sent me this kink list is not for just to test me out and see. What kind of stupid ass conversation are you having that anybody would believe that? You said that you sent me that kink list because the dungeon wanted to have a kink list just so people know at the dungeon, not the clients, but that the dungeon would know what my fetishes are in order to put me into categories as far as fetishes are concerned, not as far as sex acts, because that, ma'am, would be prostitution. I don't work at that dungeon. I trusted you. I believed you. And I had every reason to, because you made me feel that I could. I never thought that you would actually try to make me look like some hooker by giving me paperwork like that, because that's what you did. And you turned around and held on to it so you can use it against me later. And you know that's what happened. And I'm fucking disgusted. Because yes, I actually trusted you, Breaking the Culture. I didn't think that you would try to use this as a smear campaign and try to make me look like some damn prostitute out here. I gave you my personal kinks, my personal things that I do and I like personally, not as a dominatrix. What type of dominatrix allows for this kind of stuff? You lied on me, bottom line. And now guess what? You got to pay for that. You got to deal with that. Because how dare you slander me like that? How dare you continue to double down, change your story, slander me further and further, even more and more, now in front of thousands of people. Karma is a motherfucker. It is a motherfucker. And you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that because I don't deserve that shit. You have done nothing but go around and try to destroy people's fucking lives. And you're set up with the same people who love to destroy lives as well. The doors are closing down on them as well. And I guess you want to go down with the ship. I cannot believe you have taken this far. It is amazing how people with the victim mentality just cannot accept responsibility for their trash, for their demonic nonsense. And you thought, and by the way, I sent CTV the real kink list. I sent him the email where you were asking me to come in to the fucking dungeon with you, to do a session with you. So you will need to explain why you sent that all in the same message. You will need to explain that, why you lied to your friend, because I sent that to him. I wish I was there, but I'm asleep in the middle of the night. I'm not up in the middle of the night thinking about you, bitch. You're up in the middle of the night breaking your neck to tell this fucking story and tell it in different ways. You done told him a totally different story than you told the Secktah. Now you done added a whole nother piece to this. You done created a whole nother part to this situation. And you think a bitch like me is going to just walk away quietly from this? You think that you just get to smear me as a prostitute just because I said you sucked the dick at the dungeon? I just said that. We were talking shit to each other. You was talking shit about me. I talked shit about you. So me doing that warrants all of this. The lies, the nonsense, the bullshit. Yeah, you got a lot coming to you, sweetheart, including with the dungeon, because I know exactly where it is. I know their phone number. I know the website. I know all of this stuff. I know exactly where this dungeon is. I can point people directly to the actual door of the dungeon because I'm tired. Now you done really pushed me all the way to the edge and all the way too far. I was willing to walk away from all of this and let it the fuck go. Because a hoe like you ain't even worth it. Really, you're not. You're not worth the energy or the time, and you damn sure ain't got the fucking money. But let's see what happens now. Let's see what happens with the dungeon. Let's see what when they actually see your videos and what you've been saying that is allowed at their dungeon. Let's see what happens then. Let's see what happens if the state of New York is contacted because I'm being solicited allegedly for prostitution, according to you, according to what you're telling the Secktah. And now you're over in Ctv'S channel telling them as well. Because it was you that wanted to introduce me to Brett, right? How would I have known Brett if you weren't trying to introduce me to him? That would be, according to you, if I was willing to have sex with him, then that would be soliciting prostitution across state lines. So let's see, bitch, if that's the motherfucking case. Because I have evidence showing you that I wasn't interested in this. I had no interest in having any type of sexual relations with any of your clients or anybody for that matter. But that this kink list was my personal kinks. So that if I wanted to suck a carrot with some fucking whipped cream on it at the goddamn dungeon, I would do that for a client. Or if a client wanted to do such a thing, I would be okay with it. If I had medical fetishes, I would be able to go in the medical room with the client because they have medical rooms in that dungeon as well. There's all kinds of stuff. People have medical sounds that they like. There's all types of stuff. And there's not many kink lists that you would fill out where you don't talk about, where there's no sex acts or anything on there. But there was a bunch of other stuff. We're going to go ahead and go through this kink list again. Because I don't know what she's talking about with all these things she claimed I like. Like I said, I sent her the actual list. Hold on 1 second. Because niggas think it's a fucking game. We're not doing this. So again, I'm going to go back to my inbox so nobody thinks I'm making this up. We're on the scent. And as you can see, I sent Conscious TV 2 emails today showing him this whole conversation between me and her. Since she want to lie and pretend that I went to her and asked her for some subs and some clients. Like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? Fuck is this bitch talking about? She told him that I asked her for clients. Like, what the fuck? So this is the kink list that I sent to Breaking the Culture on May 26th. She sent me the kink list 3 days prior on the 23rd. So again, this is this kink list. And these are the things that I said I have little to no experience with. Not that I said I'm willing to do. This was, what do you have experience with? The experiences are to see what fetishes you would be willing to be involved with. Are you willing to be involved with blindfolding? Are you willing to be involved with heavy bondage, light bondage, embolization, bondage multi-day? I don't have any experience with any of this stuff, but I may try it with a personal partner or not, or like it, the bondage light, like I like with a personal partner, if I can have some handcuffs every so often. Okay, that is something that I like with a personal partner, not with a client. But this is what it is. Do you have experience or little experience with any of these activities? It's not so you can do this at the dungeon. Because if you're doing this at the dungeon with clients, then that would mean prostitution. But this woman is the one that told me this kink list is so the dungeon knows what kinks I have liked personally, so what I would be willing to do fetish-wise with a client that would not involve sex. But there's no list that I know of, maybe there is, but that I know of that doesn't involve actual sex. So these are personal things I may do with a partner or not, or I like it, or I don't. Outdoor sex is not being done at a dungeon. Phone sex with a partner is not being done at a dungeon. Oral or anal rimming, no experience, but may try that with a partner. A partner, not a client. Do y'all see the difference? So I don't know what this girl showed y'all, but this is what's on my list. Take a screenshot. No rimming, no experience or interested. Double penetration, no experience, no interest. I'm not interested in this stuff with anybody. But there's some things I may try with a partner. Hello? I'm not interested in any of this stuff except kissing. Willing to try some ice cubes, okay? Like, What is so fucking bad about this stuff? I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, I love this stuff with a partner. That doesn't mean I'm going to be doing this with a client at the dungeon. She wasn't setting me up for nothing outside of the dungeon. And as you see from the email, hold on, let's go back because right now we in this. So let's go back. Let's go back to the email. Okay, so I forwarded this. I forwarded this to Conscious TV. This is not something that I sent. I just forwarded it to him. I need you to fill out the kink list so I know what you're willing to do or not. Obviously, 0 sex or sexual contact. Also, he said he will pay $409 for travel and $2,000 for 2 hours, and it will be a double session, meaning you and I. There was never no contract for me to go and I'm looking for a sub myself. I'm looking for her to find somebody for me. Never any conversation like that at all. She came up with this idea. She sent the kink list right here. Here's the BDSM kink list right here. Make sure you guys can see it. Hold on. Okay, it's coming up. Hold on, guys. Oh, yeah, this is the one that wasn't popping up. But this is what she was sending me at first. And it kept coming up like this. But she ended up sending it to me properly. And ultimately, once I did get the BDSM kink list PDF, I had to download it. That's right. I had to download the PDF. Once I got the PDF downloaded, she then, hold on, I stopped sharing. Hold on 1 second. Once I got that PDF downloaded and I got an understanding of what it was for, because mind you, there were phone conversations in between that time, which I wish I had fucking recorded at this point, which is crazy because I don't do shit like that. But honestly, I wish I had fucking recorded every last one of them conversations, but I had no reason not to trust what she was saying. I had no reason to. So yes, after that, when she sent that whole BDSM checklist, okay, this is a BDSM checklist, literally. That was it. But in her words, obviously 0 sex or sex contact. Also, he said he would pay this much. I was not interested in that amount. And I also, in the phone call, I asked her why on this BDSM, why did they need to know all this stuff? And her answer to me was they just wanted to put this stuff on, like they would put you on a list if you decided to work with the dungeon. They would put you on a list of fetishes that you'd be willing to do. It's not that you would suck somebody's dick. You just might be willing to like spray some shit in your mouth or some crazy shit that looks like a fetish. It's different. Fetishes are not the same as sex acts. It is not the same. Okay? It's just not. So, you got to know the differences when you're talking like this. But how Breaking the Culture is trying to present it is, well, she was trying to present it until now. Now she's just trying to act like it was all my idea and I wanted to sub myself. And I just asked her, like, I'm out here begging for subs. Like, I even do dominatrix work anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've already told y'all that. So, no, I don't do that kind of work anymore. But, for the right price, and as long as it's the right things, yeah, I might get dip and dab in something. But I'm not about to just be out here just doing that. She asked me about this. She told me about her clients. He's not the only one. There's other clients too. She just happened to tell me about this guy and what he wanted and how he likes chocolate women and different things like that. It was all that. She missed all of that telling Conscious TV this story. Okay, like, all the stuff that this guy likes and this guy wants and all this stuff. No, it's either that part is true or Breaking the Culture have been trying to set me up from the rip with trying to lie to me from the beginning to try to make something look like something later on that she could use against me. That's what it looks more like to me at this point. Okay. More than anything else. But yeah, you're not going to try to, this whole independent contractor bullshit. Fuck that bullshit. Anybody coming into that dungeon would be an independent contractor. You're an independent contractor too. Show me a W-2 that you get from that fucking dungeon and I'll wait. Show a W-2 that you get from that dungeon. You get a 1099 from that dungeon. If you made any money from that dungeon, like anybody else in that dungeon would make. Stop it. And by the way, on the web, I think there are a couple of DOMs that work there directly, because on the website that me and another content creator has looked at, there are actual DOMs on there, and you're not on there, baby. You're not on there. Okay, so that means that you would come in there as an independent contractor as well. Okay, breaking the culture, so cut it out. Cut it the fuck out. At the end of the day, Conscious could look at this information himself, and I hope that he goes over this again. Because no, that first of all, it was done in the middle of the night, okay? And it was done at a time where niggas was asleep. So I wouldn't even had the opportunity to come up there and say anything and be able to show this real evidence of this, be able to give out the information about the dungeon and all that stuff. I would have been able to show who's really on that website and that you're not even on there. I would have been able to show all of that stuff, but I didn't get a chance to do any of that. So now it's my turn. But just remember that you know, at the end of the day, you shouldn't have told that story because it was a lie to begin with. And you know that. And it wasn't right. Yep. Hold on. Let me get into y'all comments real quick. You said my Kea voice, we is live. What's up, Stephanie Collins? I appreciate you. And beautiful Bernice, you said, hey, T-Pre in chat. You said, good morning to beautiful Bernice and good morning, Stephanie. You said, I don't know if the lady is capable of the truth. Clearly she's not, man. Clearly she's not capable of the fucking truth. It just don't make no sense that I get up and I see that he started talking about it. And shout out to Conscious, because he was definitely upping me in the video. He wasn't disrespecting me or anything like that. And I appreciate him. And he knows I really do fuck with him as a content creator. So, and he fucks with me too. And I really appreciate that. But it was just crazy that Breaking the Culture would get up there and make up these stories and make up these lies and pretend that basically she's told him that I solicited her for clients, that I'm a dominatrix. Like, hey, girl, hey, by the way, I'm a dominatrix. And I want to know if you have clients for me. What? No, she was telling me about her dominatrix lifestyle. And I let her know about how I used to be into dominatrix and the things I would do in dominatrix. And she was like, oh, okay, you know, and then she told me what this was several days later. This was weeks later. She was telling me about this client and asking me if I would come and do some work with her at the dungeon with this client. And I was like, well, you know, what's involved? And that's when she was telling me about everything and just talking to me about it. And I said, well, you know, anything that you would like to do, I would need to have it in writing so that I can go over it and decide if I even want to do that. Right. Okay. So she sent me the email and really, I told her, I'm jumping ahead. So yeah, she sent me this email and told me all the stuff that was supposed to be involved kind of roughly. Okay. And then I was like, okay, well, you know, why do I need to fill out all this stuff for this kink list? And, you know, why do I need this whole kink list? And she said that was for the dungeon. She explained that whole thing and how that would put me in categories for fetishes. Okay, so I was like, fine. And since it said willing to try with partner, you know, I was willing to fill that out. If it said something like willing to try with client, that would have been completely different. You understand what I'm saying? I would have never, ever filled out anything like that. And I especially wouldn't have filled out anything like that if I thought she was going to try to make it appear that way. But it says willing to try with partner. None of these people at the dungeon are my partners. Okay, so why would I be willing to try these things with a client? That is not what it said, but she's trying to paint it that way. So ultimately, after that whole thing went down, and she explained that, and we started to talk about pricing. I told her I'm not really interested in the pricing. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't enough for me to come up there and be doing all this stuff that this guy wanted me to do. And I wasn't interested, especially in the stuff that the guy wanted me to do. So I was telling her, like, all in these emails, there were also phone conversations. Okay. And yes, I was letting her know I was not interested in having no type of sexual activity, no type of, he couldn't put his face in my behind. He couldn't do none of that shit. He wanted me to smoke in his face and like do a hand job. I wasn't doing that shit because that sounded like sex to me. It was just too much sex that he wanted me to be involved with that I wasn't interested in. Period. But I never said nothing to nobody or nothing. I could have said, bro, Breaking the Culture is out here soliciting sex acts for women in Delaware. I could have said that, but I didn't do that. She decided to hop out the window and tell y'all this story. And then now she's backed in the corner to explain why she was telling me that this is what this man wanted me to do. And now she done added all this extra shit to it. I was supposed to be gagging people doing this stuff. I'm supposed to be drinking blood and all this and shitting in people's mouth and all this crazy shit. Where did any of this shit come from? You understand? Like, where is all this stuff coming from? If this is what this man likes and this is your client, you are openly, willingly telling the world that this is your client and this is what your client likes to do. Where on that list did you see me say I was going to bleed in somebody's mouth and I was going to shit in somebody's mouth, my partner or anybody for that matter? Never said anything like that. Never would even think about no nasty shit like that. But this is the stories and the narratives that you're painting to the public. And then telling the public that you were soliciting me to do so, which according to your emails, you would have soliciting me to do so because you're the one that said this is a double session at the dungeon, meaning me and you, or you and I. That's what you said. So if it's supposed to be a double, you got to be consistent with your storyline, okay? You're not consistent, Breaking. You keep changing your story. First, you said to our sector that, oh, no, yeah, this is my client and my client is this and my client is that. And so I asked T-Pre if, she would come in and do some work for my client and me. Yes, that is true. And, but T-Pre decided that on this kink list that she was going to do all this stuff with my client at the dungeon. And when everybody started asking you questions about why you sent the kink list to begin with, if you're not soliciting prostitution at the dungeon, and why are you saying that this is your client and you're bringing this woman 2 states away up here to your client to perform these acts that you received on the kink list in the email, then that would make you a pimp. Which would mean turn around and make this dungeon responsible for RICO charges. Literally. This is what the dungeon would be responsible for if, according to your story, is what happened. So now you decide to get up there and say, no, let me scratch all that, y'all. Fuck that. I lied. I'm my bad. Now, what happened was T-Pre decided to call me one day out the blue and say, hey, girl, by the way, I'm a dominatrix from back in the day, 20 years ago. And, I decided that my fire's back on and I want to go ahead and be a dominatrix again. So since you're a dominatrix and you like a 34-year-old dominatrix, let me just ask you what clients you got so I can get back in the game, girl. Okay. Can you get me back in the game? And you was like, yeah, girl, I got this client. He likes people to spit on him and shit on him and take their tampons out they shit and put it in their mouth. He like that kind of bitches. So can you do that? And I was like, girl, yeah, I got you. Yeah, girl. Where he at? Girl, where he at? Yeah, come get him for me. Get his number. Give him my number, girl. Give him my goddamn number. I'm with it today. And you was like, no. You got to fill out this kink list first, okay? And I'm going to need you. I'm going to give you $400 to come up here, okay? I mean, he said he going to pay that. And we're going to split $2,000, okay? and then you're going to come up here and you'll have to do this, all this stuff that you put on this kink list. You're going to have to do all of that with this client at the dungeon. Okay. And I was like, okay, girl, I got you, girl. You know, I'm just a whore. I'm nasty like that. You know, I will take all kind of shit all in every hole on my ear holes and everything, girl. I got you. I got you. I'll be there. That's the story you're fucking telling now. That is the new fucking narrative, y'all. That is the new story, allegedly. She didn't have nothing to do with it. And then once I got there, right? She ain't have nothing to do with it, okay? She ain't know me. I was just going in there with Brett, and we was about to be just, we was going to get the nastiest room in the dungeon so we can do the most triflingest, nastiest shit. That was supposed to happen. And it wasn't even in the dungeon. It was supposed to be like the room that sits upstairs outside of the dungeon, okay? That is the new fucking narrative, guys, okay? That is the new fucking narrative, according to Breaking the Culture of Silence out here. So let's get into these damn comments, y'all. But this is fucking crazy. This is fucking wild. It's just, and that's exactly what it is, Stephanie. It's like a checklist for partners. You know, it's really for partners. But when I asked her for an explanation, because mind you, you guys are only seeing the emails. I asked her openly for an explanation why I would need to fill this out for, you know, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And she was telling me why. That's exactly her answer to me. You said, so did Victor Cousins. It's like she got a pattern. She definitely has a pattern of lying on people. Oh, I love him. I really do love Conscious, though. You say, yep, Stephanie. What's up, my opinion? You said, that's how they do. You say, yeah, they need to grab their bud nippers on that one. Yeah, because she got a real lawsuit now. You said, am I tripping, or is there 24 watching and only 3 in the chat? You said, no, you're not tripping, Steph. There's plenty of people in the clouds. That's always usually how it goes. You said the clouds have eyes. Beautiful. Exactly. You said they love changing the narrative of a situation. Definitely love that shit. Like, I'm going to need her to explain why she told Conscious that I solicited this guy when she sent to me the email. Like, she sent this to me. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. This girl is such a fucking liar. She's just such a liar. And how anybody would be willing to believe her knowing that she's a liar too is just even worse. You said it sounds like a generic kink list. She just Googled or some shit, or best that's sloppy. Exactly. You said, I agree, Stephanie. You said, is Mistress Jasmine more experienced in the BDSM world than you are? Or is it just that she's more familiar with this locale? It's both. She's more familiar with the BDSM world. There's a lot more things that she has participated in that I would never. And then, you know, it's also been a very long time since I've done any type of dominatrix work at all. But yeah, she's much more involved in that than I am and I ever would be. And she's familiar with clientele because she has them. She has regular clientele. You said Victor Cousins, enough said. Mm-hmm. You said, if that. You said a lot of places don't do 1099s. Well, places like that would do 1099s because, of course, you would be an independent contractor, considering you don't come in there every day if you're not doing dominatrix work on a regular basis. But on the website, there are lots of dominatrix. I don't want to leak the website, guys, because it's supposed to be secret, to be honest. But it's something else. It really is. Hey, Eyes, I appreciate you. Girl. You said, good morning, everyone. You said, hey, what's up? We on lock. I appreciate you in the building today. You said, Grand Rising, Eyes, good morning. You said, Eyes Nation. You said, morning, Eyes. You said, if you were begging for clients, then you turning him down don't make sense at all. Exactly. I'm like, yo, I turned the whole, how come you don't have some type of evidence of me actually performing acts with this client? If anything, you should have that, right? You should definitely have all of that stuff in place if or you should have evidence of me saying, hey girl, yep, I'll be up there on such and such a date. I'm willing to come when we doing this. You should have all of that shit. You don't. Because I wasn't doing that bullshit. I wasn't letting that nigga do that dumb shit with me. You said those things could be sex acts in New York as the statute defines it. So yeah, like things like him putting his face in my butt, right? Him doing something like that could be considered a sex act. Me giving him a hand job is definitely a sex act, right? But it's a difference if like I take and drop cream in my mouth, or or if I let cream run down the side of my face, or it's a difference if I take like a carrot and I'm like lusciously kissing on or sucking on this carrot, or he's doing it, you know what I mean, and I'm talking shit to him. There's a big difference in that. You understand what I'm saying? Like a huge difference. But a girl that don't like sucking dick is not going to be doing a fetish like that. Okay, it has to be a girl that with her partner, she might suck that nigga dick if she's feeling like it. Okay, so that is what I mean by the fetishes, and that what she explained and her explaining it that way made absolute sense to me. It really did. It made sense to me. Now looking back at it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this girl. You said mismatched stories are also on her checklist. Okay, like where's her kink list at with the mismatched conversations and stuff? You said, I guess I'm just too vanilla, but this stuff sounds depraved. Blood, shit, playing and semen. Ew. Yeah, it is very depraved. And there's a lot of things in that world, in the BDSM world, that I would never partake in. And there is some stuff that happens. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like, in this world, there aren't really, really depraved and horrible fetishes out there, right? There's like fetishes for like the R word and all kinds of stuff. So there might be a girl who would be in there, because they're not all doms. Some of them are subs too. So those girls might be in there and they might allow themselves to get tied up or something like that. Of course, they'll have somebody else in the room with them, but they might allow something like that to happen while the dom or while the client is talking trash. And like, y'all would be surprised the stuff that goes on and the stuff that people are into that I'm not into. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I can enjoy the things I like, and take it as far as I would want to without getting all deep into other people's depraved, nasty, demonic worlds, And that's unfortunate that she's trying to make me appear like I do. And I would absolutely not get involved in those things. Now, her, on the other hand, I can't say that she wouldn't. I'm not going to say what she was doing, but according to her, but I can't say that she wouldn't be involved. And that's as far as I'm going to go. You said on the real, that's a hoe house fuck dungeon. Okay. Word. What's up, Slater Show? I appreciate you being in the building. What's happening, The Real King 1983? Appreciate you. Make sure you guys check out the partners. You said, man, I enter the room and hear tampon in mouth. What on earth are we discussing this morning? Terrible, terrible, terrible. You said, bro, the Slater Show. You said, hey, Bernice, and we unlocked. Yeah, I appreciate all of y'all coming in today. You said, what's up to Collins? And you said, the Slater Show. And you said, BB. And you said, I don't do cards like you at Miss T. Pretty, but I foresee a new story once this gets back to the dungeon that they forced her to do this. And it's funny because, like, at this point, I really do want to contact them. I can say, though, should I show y'all the dungeon website? Should I show y'all that? I don't know if I want to do that, guys. I don't really want to do that because I don't want to expose the other doms and stuff that really do work at this dungeon. But yeah, I do know where it's at. I do know the phone number for the dungeon, and everything. And they actually do have a kink list on their website, but it ain't what this kink list was. It isn't. It doesn't include any sex or anything. So she should have sent me what's on that website, but she didn't. And that was proof. That's all more evidence to me that she was just trying to set me up. like literally trying to set me up. And for what? For what? Like in this sector? Like really? And since you went over to consciousness sector and tried to lie about it, now you got to stand on your word, because I've actually sent him the evidence of what, the opposite of what you said. So you said the sector gets weirder and weirder. Now we got dungeons and stuff, and this ish is like a video game. It's like a whole reality TV show. I remember she had talked to me about that too. She was like, this sector could be a reality TV show. And it can be. Really, it can be, like with all the stuff that we do. But she had wanted me to talking to people about, if they wanted to be part of a show, and she knew this person and that person. And by that point, I knew she would blow a smoke up my ass, right? Because she kept telling us all these people she knew from the beginning with the podcast deal, right? All these people that were supposed to be involved in the podcast deal. Regular culture has a real mental condition, like honestly, allegedly, right? This girl really has some issues where she can't distinguish reality. Like there's some stuff where she really thinks she's this extra important person, and she's got all these wonderful, great celebrity friends and stuff, and nobody knows that girl except her clients. That's pretty much all that knows her, and Danny. Okay, and he does know some clients, like he actually does know some like celebrities, but she doesn't, right? And sometimes he don't even be having her with him. He takes her maybe on the vacation, she stays in the hotel. That's why she's always online with us. You said yep. He said, I agree. If there is no contact, it's not typically defined as a sex act. And that's exactly what it is. That's in any state. So here in Delaware is the same way. I don't know what story she was trying to tell about dominatrix and all this other stuff. You can be a dominatrix in Delaware without any contact, sexual contact with people and all this stuff. Walking around with a chain on their neck is not sexual contact. Okay, so yes, I can do that at a party legally. And everything else is, if I'm having sex though, that is different. And absolutely not. Nobody's going to have an open dominatrix party and you got people having sex at the party. Everybody going to jail, girl. Girl, shut the fuck up. She just be saying any old motherfucking thing. I've told y'all I have done personal private parties, but those parties were private, meaning that everybody and anybody wasn't invited, but people knew about it. It was a public information. It wasn't something that was hidden, right? But everybody wasn't invited because you don't want everybody in a scenery like that. You just don't want everybody coming to something like that. But that doesn't mean that, just anything goes in such a space, because it's still done in a commercial facility. You understand what I'm saying? It's not done at somebody's house. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody trying to go to jail for no shit like that. Come on. Girl, please. You said all this to bust a nut, man. I guess I'm not part of the cool crowd because this is too much, right? Like I'm saying, there's some stuff that, hey, people have certain fetishes that I'm just not interested in at all, period. You said, if I can't make a dude bust with my puss or mouth, then I better just give it up. You said, right, Black Diamond. Yeah, but you'd be surprised. I'm telling you, there's some people that have really weird ass, demonic ass fetishes, You said she don't know nobody that's in her playbook too. Exactly. Definitely doesn't know a motherfucking soul out here. You said delusions of grandeur. You're always saying something in response to her. Amen. We know that you love her, spot on. Okay. You don't have to come and renounce it every time you come around. Okay. She knows it. We know it. We know you're going to stand up for her regardless. And that's fine. Okay. If it's not a mental illness in your eyes, so be it. That wasn't the only portion of this I was talking about. That girl definitely has some mental illness, but she also has delusions of grandeur. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, she does. Thank you. You said, is Breaking the Culture someone from the sector, or did she come from another sector? I never heard of her till the podcast talks on your channel. Yeah, Breaking the Culture is a member of Conscious TV's channel. She goes over there and checks him out, watches him. And he's like a sector on his own. So it's not really the church sector. It's really his sector, right? But there is a church sector with like King Jives and Larry Reed and all of them, and they know her too. And there's a lot of people in that sector that really don't fuck with breaking the culture, including Daryl Moore. He's from that sector, and his whole crew, the whole A team, everybody that follows them. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like breaking the culture. And now that I have not only experienced certain things with her, but I've been able to do more research on her, I see too why they don't fuck with this girl. Because everything she's done with me, she's pretty much done with other people too. And I ain't gonna hold you. Other people did try to warn me about her, but I don't take, just because you tell me something about somebody, don't mean I'm supposed to just believe whatever you say. It wasn't thousands of people trying to tell me, but I just didn't want to hear, just because it's a few people saying, they don't like her. There's a few people over here that say they don't like me. You know what I'm saying? And whatever their reasons are, that don't mean whatever their reason is correct. You give people chances, and I did. I gave her an opportunity, and it turned out to be some fuck shit. So yeah, that's who breaking the cultures does. Dusty ass is. You said I also don't know half of the people y'all talk about, so maybe I'm just behind. No, I don't think you are. I think it's kind of good that you don't. Sometimes it's just best not to even be involved with all this shit. Really. You said, oh, okay. And everybody's saying she came over from the church sector. You said, as a full-time family man and a man with a career who also does content, I have no idea to this day where people find the time to create research or push these narratives. Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact there. You said, I struggle to just record our podcast and cut a few clips every week. That's not easy to do. It really isn't. That's why you got to be dedicated to it, right? And that was something that wasn't happening. But again, like I said, I feel like a lot of this stuff was, due to her proximity of who she's around, I feel like a lot of this stuff was to set me the fuck up, like, period. And she would be the dumbass that would be willing to jump out the window and take a couple of dollars to do any old fucking coon ass shit. That's what I think she did, for real. You said she was brought here. Exactly. She was brought here. You said, well, I agree. She was run the fuck out of the church sector. Mm-hmm. And you said, Stephanie Collins, I've watched her as she came to prominence over here, as well as who supports her. Interesting. And that's the part too, right? Over here, the people that over there in Conscious's channel, and over in that church sector with Larry Reed and Jives and them, the people that don't like her are like, like everybody pretty much. It's like most of the people over there really don't like breaking the culture of silence at all. Like most of them, okay? Over here, so she doesn't get much support. Does she gets a few people here and there support her? They always rock with her. Conscious is going to rock with her regardless. There's going to be some people that are, going to fuck with her. But there's some people that really don't like her, right? Over here in this sector, there's a lot of people that don't like her too. But then there's like trolls, it seems to be, that seem to want to agree with everything she says. Or there's like people that just want to kiss her ass that seem to agree with everything she says. Or people like, that tend to whoever she doesn't like at the time. People that have a problem with that person too, they just want to jump on the bandwagon, and it kind of appears like it's a bunch of people when really it's only like 10 or 15 people, right? So yeah, she don't have that much support over here, to be honest with you. It just looks like it sometimes, depending on whose chat we're in, who's talking in the chat and all that stuff. You said every time people in the sector get going with good content, someone comes in and starts up the BS again. I wonder why that seems to keep happening. Something ain't right. I don't know. I don't think, well, Conscious, he does that over there on his channel sometimes. He definitely will talk about our sector sometimes because we kind of brought them up. Well, Rev G went over there talking to him and about let me see a transcript and stuff. So, they're kind of a part of us now. Well, they're not really a part of us, but, he's going to bring us up every so often. So I don't really mind that per se, that they talk about that whole thing. But I just wish Breaking the Culture would stop backing herself into a fucking corner with this situation, trying to make me look bad and trying to make me look like a liar, because she is a fucking liar, period. And I don't understand. I'm not sure why, that's hard to understand over there on that side, considering that they kind of know she's a liar, right? So, but the way she explained it, the way she tried to explain that last night, no, but it would sound like that without having the emails and the context. So, hey, not the one you said, greetings, Black Lounge. Just a little correction. She didn't come from us. She did an interview with Dr. Reed about Btcos, and she just stuck around. Okay. So I think I said that. I said that she's, oh, well, okay. Maybe I did say that she'd be over in Conscious's channel. And she's also known in the church sector with Larry Reed and with King Jives and with all of those people too, because of the Btcos situation. Yeah, like you said, she stuck around, so that makes sense. And now she's over here hanging out with the trolls and shit. So you said the last one is what it is. The last what? I'm not sure what you said or what I said. You said she was run out the church sector. Oh, okay. Yeah. And you said KOM is still her sworn enemy to the dirt. Did you hear him on Photon's live last night? I did. And also I only heard a little bit of Photon, because once he got on there, I really didn't want to hear anymore. And I had tuned in kind of late to Photon thing anyway. And then also I had, once Knockout Media got up there, he kept repeating the same thing over and over again, that they were not talking about him at all, but he kept repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I just cut that shit off, because I'm like, why are y'all even entertaining this nigga? But either way, it is what it is. Bottom line is, Breaking the Culture, you definitely have some answering and some explaining to do, because it really does not matter at this point what the church, of public opinion, the court of public opinion has to say. You will have to prove all this shit in court. And I'm going to contact that dungeon too, because I don't appreciate that shit. And like I said, all this stuff that you're telling me, according to email, because we can only go by actual evidence, right? So according to this evidence, if you're presenting that as prostitution, then you will need to explain that to the state of New York at this point. And you'll also need to explain that to this fucking dungeon, because you got me fucked up if you think you get ready to be doing this fuck shit with me. You really do. You said, are you still going to do the podcast despite the issue with Breaking the Culture? I think you would be great at podcasts and should still push forward with your own show. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a couple of them that I'm working on right now. Like I said, I just want to get past this bullshit right here. You know what I'm saying? But every time I turn around, somebody's talking about this shit, and that's understandable because it's hot news. But, hey, it is what it is. It does make you want to not deal with it, though. I'll be honest, because this shit is crazy. It really is. And now I got to spend money on a hoe. You know what I'm saying? A dumbass fucking dumb broad hoe over her fucking mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because this is on a large platform that she put this out on. You said, sounds like she's worn out her welcome everywhere. That's quite telling. Yeah, it is. You said they like her because they don't like who she's attacking at the time. Yeah, depending on whoever's in that chat room at that moment, they'll fuck with her depending on, who she's talking about. Exactly. So if it's me or Shakim or Nikki or somebody like that, we're fucking hot topics over here in this sector. So of course, if she's talking shit about any of us, it's going to be a whole big, like, yeah, what? You're going to have 80 people in the chat and you're going to, oh yeah, everybody, like, girl, if you don't sit your ass down, because like I said, that shit'll die off. Now you done created a whole new narrative. Now I done show evidence you're still fucking lying. And now and even so, even if, like I said, man, you can never get past the fact that this is your client, man. I could see if it was my client and I introduce you to him. This is your client. So the bottom, so period, point blank. If you thought I was trying to solicit this client for prostitution, right? Then that would mean that you would know that I was soliciting them for prostitution and you were setting it up. Like, that's the bottom line. That's what you're telling the sector. You keep forgetting what you've said in these privated videos. You keep forgetting what you've said in these other spaces. Okay. These are the things that you have said. It does not matter if they've privated the video. It doesn't matter. It could be subpoenaed. Okay. It can. Period. These are the things you have said. So yes, those things, you cannot take those things back now at this point. You said the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the Secktah mantra. Always. You said laughing my ass off, spending money on hoes is kind of the point though. Please excuse my sad humor. Damn shame. Damn shame. Listen, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I had to get that shit off my chest because that shit really, just listening to the show, I had to fast forward through some of it because I just couldn't. And then like just hearing some of the stuff that this girl was trying to spin. It's like, I want y'all in the sector to just go back and listen to that shit and hear this girl and how much she changed that story last night. Like how much she literally made that story into something completely different just to spin a new narrative, just to try to get herself out of this. But she can never get herself out of it because she keeps saying, this is her client. This is her client, period. How the fuck am I responsible for what she is soliciting to me? She brought me the kink list. I could see if I said, here's my kink list, girl. And here go my client. And can you come out and come see me and the client? I could see if that was the case. Or like if I say, hey, girl, oh, I'm so desperate for clients. Oh, can you get me some clients? And I'm willing to do all this stuff here. Like, what? Oh my God, Becky. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anybody want the information on where the fucking dominatrix spot is? Let me know by email, lovinglife7842@gmail.com. I may or may not give you the website. Also may give you the actual location itself, and the phone number. Okay. If you're interested, and it all depends on who you are. Okay. So it can't be just any old troll just hitting me up asking me for that. Okay. It depends on who you are. Yes, I am willing to give you that information. All right. So guys, I will talk to you guys later. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, shout out to you all for being in the building. And make sure that you guys hit the like button on the way out. Also, make sure that you guys are doing that as well for those of you that will catch the replay. I will talk to you guys later. I am just so over this bitch. It's not even funny, yo. Like, it is just so ridiculous just dealing with this chick. I wish I had never fucking met her. I really do. And yes, anybody who told me not to fuck with her, you were fucking right, okay? You were right. But still fuck Carrie Ann. And that's just it. She could still suck somebody's fucking dick, like I fucking said. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Truly appreciate you guys for tuning in. And peace, guys. Thank you all for watching.